Hey, folks! Ever wondered what it would be like to live through the ups and downs of the economy, facing the Great Depression in the 30s? In today's video, I'll be sharing incredible stories that defined that era and how America reinvented itself. We've got personal accounts, twists in the stock market, and even the significance of the FDIC. Stay tuned, because we're about to take a real trip back in time. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a thing. The story is fascinating, and you wouldn't want to miss any details. 5. Huge economic recovery. After the Great Depression, there was a significant economic turnaround, but the memories of the crisis left a lasting mark on people's minds. After the Great Depression, the economic scene took an incredible turn. Folks managed to bounce back, but man, the memories of those dark times stuck with everyone. It's like the world did a 180, but the scar from that blow was still there, It was interesting because mentioning 1929 was like bringing up historical dates like 1776 or 1492. You said 1929, and everyone got it, as if they had relived it. My family, for example, had stories told by my parents about my old man, who was a securities salesman back then. Just imagine selling stocks, and suddenly things dropped by 48%. And then, facing those same people he had sold to? Not very uplifting, huh? My dad, at 26 back then, practically stayed holed up at home for a while. Oh, and you won't believe the twist the stock market took. After I was born, about 9 months after those turbulent times, the stock market rose by over 20%. But, you see, not everyone was aware of that. Many folks didn't even realize we were in the midst of a recovery. It seems like people were so marked by the Depression that it took a while for it to sink in, And that was just the beginning of an economic roller coaster that ended up shaping America in a way nobody expected. 4. 1929 as a symbol. The fall of 1929 became a symbol in people's minds, comparable to historical dates like 1776 or 1492. The psychological impact was so profound that even decades later, mentioning 1929 brought back vivid memories. Man, the crash of '29 was like a turning point for everyone. When you talk about 1776, Independence Day, or 1492, the discovery of the Americas? Well, mentioning 1929 carried the same weight. It became the symbol etched in people's minds so deeply that, seriously, even decades later, just bringing it up made everyone relive the memories of those turbulent days. Can you believe the impact was so profound that even my old man, who lived through those times, used to say talking about 1929 was like opening a box of bitter memories? Picture this, what those people went through during the Great Depression. It's almost like the year itself became a trigger for painful memories. And you know what? It wasn't just an economic thing, it was psychological, you get me? The scars of the crisis stuck in people's minds in a way no history class could explain. Sometimes I think simply mentioning 1929 made people time travel, reliving the whole drama of that era. It was like a movie no one wanted to watch again, but the scenes were so vividly recorded in memory that, even years later, every detail came flooding back. It's incredible how a year can become more than just a date on the calendar. Back then, 1929 wasn't just a number, it was a painful chapter everyone knew by heart. 3. Personal experience. During the Depression, the personal account involves the testimony of my father, a securities salesman during the crisis, who witnessed a significant drop in the stock market. The impact was such that he chose to stay at home, avoiding facing the people to whom he had sold stocks. Dude, let me tell you a story that went down at home during the Depression. My old man, who was a securities salesman at the time, went through a real rough patch when the stock market took a nosedive. Imagine this, he was out there selling these securities, and suddenly, the market crashes by about 48%. It's like a bucket of cold water, only worse, way worse. The thing is, after that sharp drop, my dad was so shaken that he didn't even want to face people. He literally locked himself at home, choosing to hide rather than run into the folks he had sold those stocks to. Can you imagine the tension, He saw the market melt down, and the last thing he wanted was to confront clients on the street. Between you and me, it wasn't easy. There was this heavy atmosphere at home, with my dad trying to deal with the situation the best way he could. He was only 26 at the time, and this crisis messed with everyone's heads. Sometimes, I find myself wondering what it would be like to face a situation like that, not knowing when things would get better. It truly was a tense period for our family. 2. Importance of FDIC. The absence of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, during the Great Depression is emphasized. The presence of the FDIC, established in 1934, would have provided a different financial experience, preventing widespread bank failures. You know, one of the things that has always intrigued me is the role of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, during the Great Depression. Think about it, back then, this whole insurance scheme for bank deposits didn't even exist. It was kind of like swimming without a life jacket in turbulent waters. The FDIC only entered the scene in 1934, after all the chaos had already unfolded. Imagine if we had that safety net back then? It would have made a massive difference. Without the FDIC, it was a festival of bank failures. Over 4,000 banks went under, and the people who trusted their savings in those places were left high and dry. You can't even fathom the number of sad stories that circulated. I believe if we had the FDIC from the get-go, the story would have been very different. Having insurance on bank deposits would have provided tremendous security for folks, preventing the domino effect of bankruptcies. After all, nobody deserves to lose their savings just because the bank decides to close its doors, right? The FDIC was like a belated hero, but I think we learned the lesson the hard way during the Great Depression. 1. Persistence of memories. Even after the economic recovery, the memories of the Great Depression continued to affect people's psyche. Confidence in America was tested, but the speaker highlights the country's resilience over time, emphasizing that faith in America remained unwavering. Ah, my friend, there was a time when things were tough, you know? After the Great Depression, the economy did pick up a bit, but the memories of those turbulent days lingered. It was like the scars of the crisis were stuck in people's minds. Even with the sun shining again, the thing is, even with the economic recovery, confidence in America was kind of shaken. I think people were a bit skeptical, wondering if the hit was going to happen again. But, my friend, what impresses me the most is the resilience of this country. The faith in America didn't waver, you get it? Even with the trial by fire of the Depression, folks kept believing. It's kind of a life lesson, you know? Because, look, when you delve into history, you see that even in the toughest times, America didn't let the ball drop. There was a determination there, a strength, I don't know, that kept everything standing. I think this unwavering faith is one of the most incredible things in the history of this country because, in the end, America always knew how to reinvent itself and move forward, even when the scenery wasn't that promising. Hey, folks, we've reached the end of this fascinating journey through the past. If you enjoyed learning about the ups and downs of the Great Depression and how America overcame it all, don't forget to hit that like button to support the channel. Oh, and of course, if you're not subscribed yet, let's join our community. I want to hear in the comments which story surprised you the most. And don't forget to ring the bell so you won't miss the next videos full of incredible stories. Let's build this historical connection together. Until the next video, everyone.